It's Power Hour LSU.
PHL, extra little bit of swag, an extra little bit of taste.
Yeah. Man, I'm headed to the field. Terror of the tiger, I'ma always keep it real. Everything gon' get devoured, it's the power. LSU with Carter, it's the power. LSU with Carter, man, I'm headed to the field. Terror of the tiger, I'ma always keep it real. Everything gon' get devoured, it's the power. LSU with Carter, it's the power. LSU with Carter, man, I'm headed.
It's time to talk about, yet again, transfer portal defensive tackles. Dominic Williams. Dominic Williams is in Baton Rouge as we speak, currently visiting. Obviously, there are a lot of you worried about the Barrow kid who is from Michigan State, a transfer portal defensive tackle. A lot of people are feeling he's going to Miami now. Look, you see the poll question if you're tuning in live. If you're not, the question is simple. How much of transfer portal recruiting, or just recruiting in general, can you even handle anymore? I have reached a breaking point. I love this. I love getting to do this. It is a very big blessing, this channel. It has opened up many of doors. And of course, I want to do national sports media. I want to grow. I want to make sports talk like, well, not quite like Stephen A. Smith, but that is my main goal. So getting to do this is fun. But some things like this are tough to handle because, you know, my personal line and many other avenues are, I'm constantly getting asked about, well, what about this portal player? What about this portal player from Norfolk State who had a PFF grade of 2, but he happens to play defensive tackle. He just put his name in the portal. Okay, we go after him. I'm kind of getting to the point where I just hope they commit. Like, I like studying players. I like looking for myself to see if a player is good or if they would fit what Bo Davis can do. But the day-to-day following of all of this will drive you crazy. High school football recruiting is one thing, and it was a lot. Transfer portal recruiting is even more tedious. I did not expect that to be the case, but that is where we are right now. And this isn't me talking about Dominic Williams or just any one player in particular. I'm just telling you what recruiting staffers have told me. I'm telling you what other in the media have told me. The no holds bar aspect of all of this, it is so much. Okay. It's how much can you give me? I heard of a story recently. This isn't at LSU. This was at another Power 5 school where a prospect landed in a college, got picked up at the tarmac, and on the way to the facility, did not like the number that he was hearing about getting, and he knew immediately that he wasn't even going to go. Not even visiting the facility because the number didn't reach the demand. So, you know, for me, I'm just kind of to the point where I don't mind messages about players. Are we getting this guy? Are we getting that guy? But it's a lot. It is a lot to keep up with all of these different players in the portal. And there is something to be said about that because, well, keep in mind, oftentimes there was a reason a player is still in college or a reason a player is transferring. Oftentimes it is a good player seeking to get a new payday, but oftentimes as well, it is a player who didn't really succeed at their last school. Okay, a good example of this, all right, and this will come off very harsh, and I mean very harsh, but it was worth taking a chance on a guy like Jalen Lee. right? Jalen Lee was a 4-star defensive tackle. He was initially coming to LSU. At the last second, he ended up going to Florida, okay? For whatever reason, it didn't work out in 2020. But like Major Burns, he eventually committed back to LSU. If you actually went, and there was so much hype around Jalen Lee, if you actually went and looked at his actual Florida tape, you would see that he struggled. You would see that Florida kept the same defensive tackles on the field. They almost had no rotation. And, you know, I was excited when he committed to LSU. I'm excited at this point for any defensive tackle to come to LSU. But, you know, at the time I was like, hey, let's hold down our expectations. It's what I wrote in the Patreon, that I felt that Jordan Jefferson was going to be the best of the defensive linemen that we had transferred over. We'll see if Braden Swinson continues to develop. He so far, to me, has been really good for LSU. And I thought Pierre Shan was a fine piece, but it was tough. Like, I was like, okay, Jalen Lee, it didn't look great at Florida. Let's see if it works out at LSU. And it didn't. He wasn't really a part of our rotation. And now the defensive tackle room is wide open, and he wasn't able to rise to the top. Now, that could change. I'm cheering for him. All of us are cheering for him. But there's a reason. And there have been a lot of 4-star Louisiana natives that went elsewhere and came back to LSU, and it didn't work out at their first school. And you'll see that most of the guys that have transferred in and have had success at their previous stop, right? Joe Fouché, very good player at his previous stop at Arkansas. Greg Brooks, very good player. Jarek Bernard-Converse, really high-level player. That is almost a prerequisite of coming to LSU and having success. Rarely have you seen at LSU, or just anywhere, player really doesn't play at all at his first Power 5 school, but then he transfers to another Power 5 school and has a lot of success. Normally, there is something. Normally, there is just a glimmer of playing ability that you see. But at this point, you know, there's just not many defensive tackles in the portal that have good tape. You know, the young man from ULM that entered the portal, Aiden, his last name slips my mind, he looks pretty good, but he's not a defensive tackle. He's a 260 tweener type. But I would take him because he could just flat out play. He had a really good PFF grade. I checked it, and there was a play he had. It was against a bad team where his bend and closing speed was ridiculous for a guy that size. I would take him and play him as an undersized defensive tackle if you need to. So, you know, with Dominic Williams, this is a big one. This is a big one because I actually sat and watched some of his stuff, not really like a deep dive. I don't know if I'm going to do any more deep dives on any, you know, transfers because it's when they don't commit, it feels like I just wasted a bunch of time. But I watched some of him, and he is playable in the SEC. And at this point, that's where we are. And the reason why I use that Jalen Lee example is there was really no previous, like, elite standout plays at Florida. There were some, but not a whole lot. This is not the case with Williams. I mean, he's got some real standout ability. So I'm hoping he commits to LSU, and immediately he would be a day one starter for us. He played a lot in odd 3-man fronts as a head-up defensive nose tackle. I think he can also play a shade, a 1, and a 3 for you if you need it, and that's the kind of scheme versatility that we need. Of course, we got Gio Paez coming in. We still got some other guys coming in, but with obviously led by Dominic McKinley, we still need some help. We really, really, really do. Now, before we get to the huge Tigers commitment of the day, it did not come in football, by the way. We say hi to Blaine, Tony. I see Dex, Mick. Good to see all of you. Pick 6 and the rest of the crew. Please, if it is in your heart's desire, $20 super chat goes to an autograph photo. If you $20 super chat, I'll send out an autograph photo. I got a Gabriel Relaford. Well, not Relaford. I think I gave out my last one. But you do get an LSU autograph photo. Tonight, I'll, for a $40 super chat, I'll give out a Will Campbell autograph photo. So I really appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all the love in Believe in Saints, my new Saints project that I've started. Really freaking excited about that. Believe in Saints. And yeah, check it out. Power Hour NFL, Power Hour SEC. You guys know all the other channels. Now, big commitment today. And oftentimes your best commitments are the ones that are already good. We always look forward to the new shiny thing. And we did a whole live stream just on some 7-on-7 football footage of Bryce Underwood and Harlem Berry over the weekend. So yes, I'm all about the new shiny thing. And I'm all about mostly football on this channel. And I love the new women's basketball transfers that came in over this past week. I've not really sat down and watched them, but they are really, really, really solid. But someone I did sit down and watch, and someone who has created a pretty crazy legacy at LSU, is Haley Bryant. Now, I'm biased because my wife's name is Haley Bryant, and it just rolls off the tongue absolutely beautifully. And Haley Bryant is one of the best LSU athletes in any sport ever. She has elected to come back for her final year of eligibility. Now, was there a chance of her going somewhere else? No, because there really is no professional gymnastics. You have like the Team USA stuff. I would like a gymnastics league, something semi-professional. I really don't know anything about that. But Haley Bryant is one of the best athletes of all time. And it is huge that she is coming back. And I know you're like, well, Carter, I don't care about gymnastics. But gymnastics numbers are really good. They're really freaking good, right? And, you know, the attendance is really good. Do you know how many of my friends with daughters go to these meets and look up to what they're seeing? Really good for LSU NIL, really good for the LSU brand. Haley Bryant, obviously, I don't think Livy Dunn made a decision today. I only saw Haley Bryant. I know Livy's decision will be massive as well, more off the mat than on. But shout out, of course, to Jay Clark and the LSU gymnastics program. They do deserve a lot of credit. Now, LSU baseball, of course, taking care of business tonight. That's obviously really good. And I want to once again, thanks Mario Jerez. Can you believe it? Last Tuesday was the first missed live stream on a Tuesday that I have had in a very long time. And it was for a good reason. I was able to call an LSU baseball game in Tiger Stadium on the radio, and I will never, ever forget it. Bucket list item, I got to hang out with Lynn Rollins after the stream, and it was so much fun. So I really appreciate everybody involved with helping me get that opportunity, which I learned 5 hours before. So I had to make a 5-hour drive, and right when I got there, I was in the broadcast booth. So one of the craziest experiences of my life, but well worth it. Now, next thing I'll say. I went to the Pelicans game on Saturday. Talked about it on Sunday. We got swept last night. Saw a few PHLers. I actually got stopped by someone who bought the last piece of merch on our website, powerhourlsu.com. Okay? So if you guys don't mind, get on over to powerhourlsu.com/shop. We've got some fantastic merch at unbeatable prices. powerhourlsu.com/shop. Shout out to Brandon Williams. He got him some PHO merch, and he actually stopped me at the Pelicans game this past weekend. So that was really cool. But it's not cool that the Pelicans got swept. It's not cool that the Pelicans never scored 100 points. They never scored 95 points in a game. So that sucked. And we're still a far way away. And I don't know if Zion is ever going to be healthy for our postseason. So that's obviously Tough to swallow, but it could be worse. You could be the Phoenix Suns. Huh? So, I'll leave it at that. Now, like I've said, and like there is in almost every live stream, are a gazillion things that I want to get to. But as always, if you super chat, we go straight to it. LSU baseball, playing some better baseball. Really excited about that. Now, I want to talk about one very important thing. We'll go to Blaine here. How epic would it be if both Campbell and Jones get drafted in the next year in the top 10? It would be pretty freaking awesome. But before I answer that, smash that like button. Good to see Cliff. Good to see Dex, the mastermind behind our PHO Open. Okay. Now, I do want to shout out Nate Tice of The Athletic. Nate released his big board for next year. He has Will Campbell as the number 2 prospect, period, on his big board. And at prospect number 10 was Emory Jones. All right. And like I've told you from the get-go, do not be shocked if Emory Jones is selected before Will Campbell next year. It would not shock me in the least bit. I think both of them will go in the first round, though. And LSU just had Joe Alt selected. I noticed I said LSU. It was really Notre Dame, but Brian Kelly had Joe Alt selected. Y'all, what position is being selected more than ever in the first rounds of drafts? Offensive lineman. Next year's quarterback sucked. That it's just not a good QB class. I think next year's receiver class is kind of weird. I think it's a good running back class, but those aren't selected in the first round anymore. So Will Campbell and Emory Jones have a good shot of going really, really, really high next year. They both have high floors. I don't see them falling off a cliff as performers. They'll probably be first round picks. At worst, day 2 picks. And I cannot tell you how crazy that is. That Brian Kelly got to LSU and changed the one brand where we lack, which is first-round offensive lineman. We had not had one since Alan Faneca in 1998. That is the most insane LSU NFL draft stat that is out there. Okay? It is amazing how LSU has mostly dominated. Well, they have dominated pretty much every other position. You can make a strong case when it comes to first-round players. LSU is like a top 5 producer at every other position outside of offensive line. And Brian Kelly has pretty much changed that. Now, was it good fortune that Will Campbell and Emory Jones are both in the state of Louisiana and they were both pretty nice prospects coming out of high school, and it just happened to be in Brian Kelly's first year that they were, going to LSU? Sure, there's some good fortune there. And would these two be first rounders pretty much anywhere where they could have gone? Maybe so. But the bottom line is BK is making us a big-time brand on the offensive line. We've seen it in recruiting. You also got to shout out Brad Davis as well. Okay. So, it's insane. It's absolutely insane what he's been able to do. Now, let's go to Nicholas. He says, there's no chance that Will goes day 2 next year unless some freak injury happens or something. That dude's a first-round pick, be real, possibly top 10. I would agree, Nicholas, that he's probably going to be a top 10 pick. Okay? But you would probably be shocked how many early, and I mean early, mocked guys going into the next year did not end up being first-round picks the next year. Okay? There's actually quite a few of them. All right. Grant Delpit was in everybody's top 10 in mock drafts. Almost everyone. Slid to round 2. Okay. Was Grant Delpit a Will Campbell level player? Absolutely. Here's another one. Darius Geis. Now, he does play running back. That's not a position that's selected as much in the first round. But he was on pretty much every mock as a first back going in the next draft. He slid to round 2. Arden Key. Arden Key was Matt Miller's number 1 NFL draft pick. He was the first pick on quite a few mock drafts. And he fell. So there is no locks in any of this. All right. There really isn't, outside of maybe a handful of guys. But even in that case, it's hard. It is hard to maintain that draft status. It really, really, really is. Like Caleb Williams was a lock, obviously, to go in the first round the very next year. Marvin Harrison, a near mortal lock. Some of that is, first round. Some of it is his name recognition, but he was really good. Malik Neighbors was a near first round lock. But you know who else was? Keyshawn Boutte. Okay. So there are so many different things that can happen. And sometimes it's not really a freak thing. It's just, draft boards just change. They just do for whatever reason. But I think at this point, Will Campbell will be a first round pick. Okay. He's as close of a first round lock as you will find at the offensive line position. So that's the hard thing about NFL draft stuff. You never really know what happens. Like, let's take someone like a guy that's being mocked in the top 5 pretty much everywhere right now is James Pierce, the young man that's at Tennessee right now. Really good edge process. So, yeah, I mean, could he be a first round pick next year? Yeah, he's absolutely a great player. Could he fall off a cliff? Yeah. But that's my point, Pegasus. Sure, some of those guys had freak injuries, but some of them didn't. Some of them just fell for whatever reason. Greedy Williams was another one of those guys, and he fell. So, yeah, you honestly never really know. Let's see here. What did I want? To get into here. Okay. Let's see. This was a text that just got Carter. The Williams visit went well. Scotty B said that Ole Miss game for Delpit was awful. Yeah, I think everyone had a bad game. Back-to-back road game, though. I've actually, ironically, I don't know if you're new, Scotty B. I've done so much deep research on that game. Interviewed Patrick Queen about it. And I figured out why we had such a bad defensive game was because we were on the back end of a back-to-back road game. And Grant Delpit played hurt all that year and out of position. Now, next thing I want to get into is more national college football stuff. Obviously, there's a story going around that the NCAA is looking into a revenue sharing program with the athletes when it comes to the television network rights. I hope that helps with some of the craziness that's going on with college sports. That doesn't really shock me at all that is coming, but we'll see what will actually happen with that. I do want to get into, to me, a story that has gone unfreaking believably viral today. All right. And it kind of involves next year's mock draft. So the number one rated player for the NFL draft next year is Shedeur Sanders. He currently has the Vegas odds as the overwhelming favorite to be the number one pick according to DraftKings, which I think is dumb. But they know there's going to be plenty of people that would take that line, and they'll, even if it is bad odds, they'll make a lot of money. So Deion Sanders recommended Xavier Smith hit the transfer portal. He didn't. During spring practices, Smith felt like he was an extra in the background of a reality show. And Shedeur Sanders, unprovoked, said, I don't even know what that means, but I do see some people say ion. Like, ion is like short for I don't. Trust me, it's a lot to type out a few extra letters. I don't even remember him, to be honest. Xavier Smith had to be very mid at best. This has been tweeted out. 9.4 million views on this tweet. Do you really want your number one overall quarterback? Have you ever seen Jaden Daniels call out a former teammate as mid? Do you ever see Joe Burrow or anyone like that call out their former teammates as mid? Or any teammate that you have as mid. I don't care if my teammate was with me for a second. I'm never going to call him mid as a teammate. Now, here's what I'll say. First thing is, Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback is very good, but not great. I definitely wouldn't take him number one overall. Would he be the first quarterback off the board next year? I don't know. It's not a great QB class. But have the Sanders been good for college football? Yes. No doubt about it. There are so many extra eyeballs on the sport. They were breaking website traffic last year. They're good for the sport. I honestly think the article that provoked that quote was a very good one for Max Olson at The Athletic, where he actually tracked down quite a few of the players that Deion Sanders cut very early in this Colorado process. And I have said plenty of times, I've appreciated Deion being so open about cutting players. LSU has cut players. Every team cuts players. And it's not necessarily a cut. It's kind of a mutual parting of ways. But LSU's, every school cuts players. And Deion has been the most open and direct, just saying, hey, you're not good enough. I kind of like that because I like people being open and calling it what it is. What I would say, though, is it's not good for your son to come out and crap all over the kid who apparently actually went to another school and was a decent player. They might have needed to keep him. And Colorado's in the middle of, a 5-star corner who transferred. Also, their best running back last year, Edwards, transferring. He's going from Colorado, gazillion eyeballs, great branding, to Kansas State. which is the exact opposite. And I love me some Darren Sproles. I love me some Ben Sinnott. I think a lot of you are going to be seeing some Ben Sinnott and Jaden Daniels highlights next year. But you got – oh, he's from Kansas? Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense now. I didn't know that. I didn't know Edwards was from Kansas. You've got to be real here. It's getting a little sour. And it's more about the Sanders than it is the sport of college football. More about the Sanders than it is the Colorado program. Now, if you're a Colorado, it was well worth it. I mean, they have more than ROI'd this investment. Okay? Oh, Cliff, come on. You can't be serious here. The fact that you decided to put these two in the same breath. And I go back to this as well. Do people even realize how bad Colorado was last year? They were 4-8. Okay, not only were they 4-8, Colorado State viciously outplayed them. It just happened to be the two worst game manager coaches going at it. Deion made 1,000 coaching mistakes. Colorado State's coach, Jay Norvell, made even more coaching mistakes. And that is the only reason why that game happened. They were 4-8. They had one of the most epic choke jobs versus a bad Stanford team. And Colorado was at home. Okay. This is not a good college football program. This is not a good team. They have no line. Now, Travis Hunter is so good. He's stupendously good. He might be the closest thing we've seen to Deion as like this two-way superstar. So, it's sour. It is sour. And the funny thing about it was Deion, talks about like introspective and being honest and being forthright, and he has been publicly. The issue he had was the coaching mistakes he made versus Colorado didn't come back to bite him. But it did come back to bite him versus Stanford when he choked the lead away, which lets me know that he's surrounded by yes men. All right. So this is a 4-8 team. I've heard some rumors that Shedeur Sanders is going to be on the cover of the NCAA video game. Got to sell copies, right? Today was a massive turnoff for me. It was. It really, really, really was. Because I just wouldn't call that guy mid. And you also have to understand the power of your word, right? Sanders is a superstar like we have never seen before in college football, right? He is the son of a legend who happens to be his coach. And Shedeur is actually a good football player. And that guy who was just very honest in a story with the media member is probably getting some vicious attacks from some Colorado and Sanders super fans. I wouldn't go out of my way to call him mid. So, look, I give Deion a lot of credit. Colorado's program stunk. They were going nowhere. And they were relevant again last year. Like I said, they have made a lot of ROI. But it is clear that the program is only surrounded by yes men who will just do whatever Sanders says. And don't tell them, hey, we we need to do things differently. But that will require looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, hey, we can't have this happen. We can't be calling former players mid. Can't be doing that. They're 4-8. 4-8. Yeah. And this is a different. So when you look at a stat like pressure to sack ratio, like Sanders is really bad. Now that doesn't mean he's going to be a bad college quarterback this next year or a bad NFL quarterback. Like Burrow's pressure to sack wasn't that great. Jaden's wasn't. But the difference is they don't take the kind of sacks that Shedeur takes. There's different types of sacks. There's one like Jaden would take for like a 2-yard loss. Shedeur would take these 10 to 12-yard sacks. But I will say his offensive line sucks, and that's in large part because of his father. Okay. Oh, no, I'm with you, Pegasus. I'm with you on that. I'm fine with Deion being forthright about cutting guys. And I'm fine with the players. I'm fine with the players saying, hey, it's on me. It's on me. So it is what it is. I don't know how I feel about the Colorado stuff going forward. Like, that just turns me off so much. Publicly calling somebody mid like that. That's called punching down. Punching down sucks. Now, if Shedeur wants to call LSU mid, that's fine. That's punching up. Or you want to call Jackson Dart mid or whatever. Let's go. Also, punching back. What's the issue again? No, look, I'm not saying you can't punch or call anyone out or whatever. It's just I am punching back at you punching down, right? Like, it's not worth it. I mean, this guy is a relative no one, and you randomly call him mid, right? You're projected to be the number 1 overall pick next year, according to Vegas. And, well, this guy's not. Now, next thing I want to get into. I want to show some love to Brian Thomas Jr. Okay. You guys know that I am a jersey number snob. Okay? It is my absolute favorite thing in football is jersey numbers. Okay? I freaking love them. And I want to show some love to a man who's trying to bring back to when things were better in society. Back when men were men. Back when we used to have to punch in the clock. Back when, we really had to get our hands dirty. Brian Thomas Jr. is bringing us back to the glory days. Okay? He's wearing number 80 next year. BTJ! It's not only Justin Timberlake bringing sexy back. You don't need a single digit number to succeed. In fact, you don't need a lower digit number to succeed. Look at that. Now, I will say there is a Jacksonville Jaguars receiver who already has BTJ's number 11, which he wore in high school on both the football and basketball court and wore at LSU. So could it be that they're working out a deal for BTJ, the first round pick, to get the number 11 from Parker Washington, who is a year two, sixth round pick from Penn State? He caught like 10 balls last year for Jacksonville. Could it be that this is final? Jersey numbers change all the time before the season. It could be final. But y'all, BTJ is bringing back the Jerry Rice days. It's bringing back the Randy Moss days. Bringing back the Ed McCaffrey days. Bringing back the Donald Driver days. Gotta rock a jersey number in the 80s. Now, Malik Neighbors went with 1, but he's an Uno. Okay? Only wear a single-digit number if you're going to guarantee me you're going to make plays. Let's freaking go, BTJ. And also, number 80, pretty historic LSU number. Last worn by Gregory Clayton, of course, but Jack Bech wore it as a true freshman. He was freaking incredible. But number 80 is a legendary LSU receiver number of the modern era. So you have Jarvis Landry, you have Dwayne Bowe, you have Terrence Tolliver. Okay. And there's one I know I'm missing. But number 80 is the number. There's one I'm missing. Terrence Tolliver, Dwayne Bowe, Jarvis Landry, true freshman Jack Bech. It's just it's clean, baby. It's way things should be. But it was a number 80. I think there's another one. I just can't think of it right now. BTJ, you're my guy. Hey, true freshman Jack Bech was cold-blooded, man. Oh, yes. No. Buster Davis wore 3. I think Dwayne Bowe wore 80. They're on the. I think I might be. I think I've named all of them. So LSU baseball takes care of business. Okay. This happened again. All right. And this was actually sent to me from Seth, who's watching the stream. Okay, so there was a big there was a huge college basketball story that just broke in like the last 5 minutes. Okay, and normally if Seth sends me something during the stream, I'm gonna take a look at it. So there was a player for FAU. His name is John L. Davis. He's a basketball player, and he declared for the NBA draft. John Calipari called him, got him to Fayetteville, Arkansas, offered him an NIL deal of over $1 million. He signed it on the spot, and he's playing college basketball again. Okay. So why I think that's a big deal is what I mentioned a few weeks ago with like Damian Martinez with the Oregon State story, and a big national reporter named Pete Damel reported that it was $400K that he was bypassing. I know it's hard to confirm these things, but I think one thing that will change college football reporting and the game is national reporters actually tweeting out monetary numbers for the players. Okay? Because national reporters are willing to do it. They have better sources. They actually know the agents. And it's just how it works. You rarely see big stories broken by local reporters. It's just how it is. Some of them don't want to lose the minimal access that they're given by the programs that they cover. So they don't want to do anything that ticks anybody off. It's a big reason why. But normally the stories of relevance are broken by the national guys. It's just how it is. What I think could happen, though, in like college football, if we do have some kind of system and things are more transparent and open, is every transfer portal story comes along with a monetary number attached to it. I think it would make the sport better. I really do think it would make the sport better, because what it would do is we don't have to live in this world where, well, everybody's always been paid. It's how it's always been, which sometimes I believe, sometimes I don't believe, right? Because I was around mostly LSU athletes, but I knew some prominent LSU athletes. Some of them got cool things like cars and whatnot, and a $20K stipend or something like that. But it's just not the same as it is now. So I think it's a big deal. I really do think it's a big deal if you start attaching monetary numbers to some deals. Okay, what did it cost to get that player signed? Let's be open about the market, because $1 million to a point guard for a year, 1 year, is a lot of money. $1 million, more than $1 million. And yeah, don't forget, if you're just now joining us, over 160 of you in here. Thank you guys so much. First $20 super chat, you are getting an Ahmad Bro autograph photo. All right. I know a lot of you have seen the viral Keon Coleman clips. That's always going to be one that hurts. That one's always going to be the one that hurts. But I go back to thinking, it would have hurt a lot worse if we never went around and offered Malik Neighbors. You know? And, you know, the only reason Malik Neighbors came here is because JoJo Earl wanted to go elsewhere. And it's always just been in the back of my mind. Should we even offer, outside of like can't miss, like true 5-star level guys like a DeCorian Moore? Is it even worth going to get receivers outside of the state of Louisiana? Is it even worth it? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But there will be a 30 for 30 on that wide receiver class one day. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But Keon Coleman's going viral because he is absolutely hilarious. He did so much funny stuff on the Buffalo Bills social media account. And like, it is amazing how many people think he's not going to be any good. Okay. And look, there's a lot of receivers that are kind of like him that have not worked out in the NFL. But man, he gets a pristine landing spot with the Buffalo Bills. Well, Pegasus, it provides transparency, right? But maybe you make a good point. You know, it doesn't, like, I'm not going to like or dislike a player anymore because, well, I'm watching him play, whatever. But I guess it might be negative because there are a bunch of fans that would just hold it over that young man's head. Like, if he shot like 3 for 18 one night, they'll be like, God, were you really worth it? So I guess that might be a bad thing. Maybe you are changing my mind here. But it could just be that I'm curious and I just want to know. I'll tell you this, TOV. If I could make $1 million playing a sport, I have no problem with them knowing how much money I make. But I don't. I don't make close to that. So, yeah, I mean, if I could switch spots, sure. But, you know, you got full transparency. I've made $0 on the stream from Supers, and that's fine. You know, I get some money from ads and supporters and the Patreon and all of that. So, yeah, you do have transparency with how much I'm making from this stream. Let's see. JA's in the thing. The dad joke king. We could see TOV in here. Marcus Spears wore number 84. That was such a aesthetic. A defensive end wearing number 84 with the fishnet. But I think some of it was because he could also play tight end. I appreciate that, TOV. No, you've changed my mind, Pegasus. You are right. Like, I think random fans, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. I just think for me, it would just be cool to know how much. I will say, you know, And thank you, TLV, and congratulations. You're getting an Ahmad Bro photo in the mail from your boy. So I'm pretty sure I have your information. Just email me or message me. You're a patron, so just message me your address and I'll send it out, man. I'll put a few extra cards in there as well. But yeah, you see that Marcus Spears pick 6 versus Oklahoma. You're like, yeah, you could see why he was a tight end. You could see why he was like a basketball superstar in Louisiana. Now, TT, what it do, baby? All right, TLV wants me to give it to somebody else. All right, who wants the Ahmad Bro photo? I have someone in mind that I think deserves this. And it's going to James. Congratulations. James has super chatted the last couple of live streams. So, James, congratulations. Shoot me an email, and I will get this out to you. So, TLV, I don't know if you're an Ahmad Bro fan, but I guarantee you are not as big an Ahmad Bro fan than James. So, your kindness truly made this happen. Ezekiel Elliott back with the Cowboys. Baseball still going on. Jason White reference. You know, it's a good live stream. We get a Jason White reference. That Oklahoma team was stacked. What was their DT's name that got all the hype? Instead of Lavalley Williams, it was Tommy. They had a DT and a linebacker. God, why am I? Oklahoma defensive lineman Tommy. Tommy Harris, that was his name. Just good, dude. And what was the linebacker? They had a good linebacker. I forgot. Yeah, there you go, Tommy Harris. People are asking who committed. It was the GOAT, Haley Bryant. She committed back to LSU. And yeah, way bigger commitment than any football player we could have gotten to commit. So There you go. Because she is going to have a statue one day, probably outside the gymnasium. Pretty cool stuff. One thing I don't understand. Oh, that's incredible. Tommy freaking Williams. Teddy, yeah, what was his name? Was it Teddy Lehman? Was that it? Let me see. That was it. Teddy Lehman. I just needed. There we go. Yeah, he's a sports radio host now. Dude, Teddy Lehman was a monster, bro. Teddy Lehman was a freaking monster. God, I love me some Teddy Lehman. Let's go to Big Dex. This is for the Billy's Boudin you ate without me. I thought it was boys. Ah! Bro, the Billy was fire. I got to be honest, and I'm not just rubbing it in, man. That was the best Billy's I've ever had. Like, I didn't. So I always go in there and get the pepper jack boudin balls and some of the crawfish boudin balls. I rarely ever get just the regular boudin balls anymore, and I always get some crackling. And the crawfish boudin balls were good, but the shrimp boudin balls. Those two items are the best gas station food I've ever had. Now, I don't know if I could qualify that as gas station food because they actually are like a relatively big business. But in terms of a place where you can get $20 on Pump 6, today's Advocate, a 30-pack of Millers, that's gas station food. Okay? This Billy slapped so hard. And the funny thing about it was, so I ordered for my wedding a ton of Billies, a ton. And my family from New Roads picked it up. I didn't know the order of events at my own wedding. And all I wanted was just some boudin balls. So we had to take an hour worth of photos, which I did not like. But we were done with the photos. All the boudin balls were gone. All of them were gone. And Cliff was there. Cliff obviously was there, being related to me. They were gone. Yeah, they were slapping. Never slap it. Let's take a look at the poll question. Do you follow recruiting very closely? 52% of you say, yes, I check every day. And 40% of you say, kind of just to keep up. Y'all, I will tell you this. I love prospecting. I love trying to guess which prospects are actually going to turn out to be great. When I tell you it is so much funner to do it from college to NFL than it is high school to college or college to college, it's insane. It's insane how much fun NFL draft analysts have it. And I'm doing a video on the Power Hour NFL site. And y'all, it is amazing how easy it is to be a draft analyst. Now, there are some like a Dane Brugler who are just incredible. They go above and beyond. It is incredible. It is absolutely incredible because no one ever holds you accountable. Nobody. You can give every single pick an A+ grade, which some draft analysts do, just to make sure that they're right. And the thing that drives me crazy about draft analysts compared to recruiting analysts is, as a draft analyst, you can have a positive review on everyone. But that's how the NFL works. The same thing is true in college. Not everybody's going to be good. That's why I try my best to actually do my best to guess who the best players are. It takes a lot of time. And, you know, on Patreon, it was the hardest. This is out of anything I do on the Patreon for my patrons. It's the thing that I spend the most time doing, which is grading the LSU prospects or just grading them based on high school stuff. It's really, really hard. Like, it is near impossible to guess who the best are. So you have to use things like their composite rankings. You have to use things like their height and weight, historical data, track and field testing times. I'll watch a player's interview, see if I use that honestly very lightly, but I'll check out an interview or two to see what the character is like, or if you can pick up anything on it. You really can't, honestly. But I do watch it just for the sake of it. It is hard. It's really, really, really hard. And in a way, everyone's guessing. But if everyone guesses that a player is going to be good, what's the point? What's the point? Let's go to Jared with the super. And he says, I probably look zesty as hell driving down the road biting boudin sticks. I make sure to look around before I take a bite. I could see Jared just oh, that's so funny. Oh man. Hey man. Digging my head into some balls in that much doesn't look that much better. Oh, that's funny. That's really, really, really funny. That's so funny. This comes in from Dan Carter. Have you ever had Bergeron's? Is that the place in Shreveport where DJ Pizza brings me Bergeron? I think that's the name of it. I thought this was interesting in college baseball that there's a and Chance, maybe you could tell me about this because Chance Babbitt actually watches a lot of college baseball. Okay. But there's like multiple like cheating scandals going on. So apparently there was something that happened in the Georgia dugout that looked very sketchy. And then there was the Texas A&M baseball coach. We're getting ready to play them pretty soon. That was saying something about take a look at a team's road and home hitting splits, and there's a potential scandal or something like that down the road. I don't know. I didn't listen to the clip. But there's Chef Lee Andrea. I don't know. I don't know if I can handle a cheating scandal in baseball again. I love SEC baseball. I really do. Like, I would prefer to watch an SEC baseball game over an MLB game. I don't watch a whole lot of baseball, period. But you know, I'd be interested to know what that was. What is it? Is it a sign stealing thing? I don't know. I'll see if any of y'all have any information on that. Now here's what we're gonna do. In the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna answer as many questions as I possibly can. If you super chat, we'll keep it going. Now, as many of you know, I go to a lot of Pelicans games. And you know, I love my Pels. I really, really, really do. I have heard though that they are going to be very active in the trade market. Okay. Pin, thank you for the super chat. Pin. Robert Pin Warren. Pin. Jones. Go right on ahead. But I have heard that the Pelicans are going to be very active in the trade market. You know, I actually got to meet some of my favorite Pelicans content creators. I met Jake Madison at a Pelicans game this weekend. I saw Will Guillory. I've met him before. I also met Andrew Lopez for the first time. He's like a national ESPN writer. And I used to do radio segments with him. Okay. I think the Pelicans are going to be very active. I think they do. They either have to be very active in the trade market or make a change at coach. I think they need to make a change. If you and I understand Zion was hurt, but the NBA is an offensive league. If you can't score 95 points at least once in a 4-game series, that's a problem. That's a problem. So I understand Oklahoma City is extremely athletic. I understand we did not have Zion, but the Pelicans are really, really, really struggling. Really, really struggling. Okay. Now, let's go to Tyler. Chance and Tyler watch more college baseball than anyone. Sibley watches a lot too. Tyler believes the pitcher from Georgia was definitely putting a foreign substance on the ball. Okay. Let's go find the video. All right. Let me put this up here. Is that shady? What is that? So weird. You know, it's funny when I first saw it, I thought he was peeing. I was like, wait, is this? All right, so pin super is what he wants to talk about, so we'll do it. All right. You know, it's ridiculous, like how much stuff you can get away with. Is he cheating? Yes. Is he cheating? Yes. It is very suspicious. I will tell you. Okay, so Tyler thought that too. I thought that too. I was like, wait, what? You know, I was like, why is everyone so mad at this guy? Would you want to go pitch in front of 5,000 people? Knowing that you have to go relieve yourself? Okay, so Penn is convinced. He is convinced. Then, huh? Oh man. You know, I was I do think the Pelicans are going to be active in the trade market. I do find this LeBron situation to be interesting as well. I don't know who to go get. Like I'm not smart enough to tell you that. They need to do something. We can't just run this back. We just can't. I don't know why. You see, I don't know why that did that. Like, I keep thinking it's like a thumbs up thing. Did y'all see that? I still don't know. I still don't know. We're talking about the NFL draft earlier. And I saw a mock draft that had Quinn Ewers going to the Saints. And I wanted to honestly jump into an erupting volcano full of electric eels while I listened to Friday by Rebecca Black. Like, I never hated a mock draft more than any mock draft. What I would tell you is the more I think about it, the more I'm talking myself into Garrett Nussmeier potentially sneaking into the first round. Okay. Like, it's going to be hard for Carson Beck to not have a big season. And I do think Carson Beck is really good. But Jackson Dart, Riley Leonard, I think Riley Leonard is very interesting. I think Caden Salter is very interesting. Connor Wigman is someone I could see go number 1 overall next year. I'm serious. But could it be Garrett Nussmeier? Could it be Garrett Nussmeier sneaking into the first round? I think he could. I think he could. I think he could. I do believe it's a bit of a long shot, him being a first-year starter. But it's possible. If Bo Nix can go 12th, anything can happen. And this is good from Jared. Let's win a season opener first. I'm not saying Garrett Nussmeier will be a first-round pick. But could he be? Yeah. I don't think he could have been in this last crop, obviously, because Jaden was there. But, the quarterback class is that weak. It really, really, really is. Mac Jones was a first-round pick. Yeah, but he also had statistically one of the best college seasons ever. Now, it was 2020. It was kind of weird, but if you actually take a look at EPA per play, he was just a crusher. Pegasus says, how? He's played what's amounted to 3 games in 4 years. You're right. But guess who else did? Anthony Richardson. Sometimes it doesn't take that many games to convince someone to take you in the first round. If I'm Garrett Nussmeier, I would want 2 full year starts before I go into the NFL. But, sometimes it only takes a year. Like Caleb Williams would have been like the first quarterback selected had he come out after a sophomore season, but he couldn't. Same thing with Drake May. So, yeah, it's a little bit different. But, I really do think this quarterback class is wide open. At this point in time, I could give you like a safe option that everyone's mocking, but I've seen enough of Quinn Ewers to know that he's just not really that great. Okay. I could see Connor Wigman. Okay, it's this. When I watch. Okay, it's when I do this. Let me see if it does it again. It did it again. It did it again. So I guess I just have to hold it. Let's see. That's it. Wait. Only if what is this? Freaking Creole Jeopardy here with this. What is this? Let me see if it does it. There you go. So I have to hold it. And I have to hold it like this. Let me see. Oh, so it doesn't work this way. No, it does. You got to hold it. Now shake it. Victory, let's bake it. Let's see if we do it again. No. I didn't know that's what it was because I've tried doing that before. Let me see if I do this. All right. Now, everyone close your eyes. I'm about to flip off the camera. Okay, I'm about to do a double. I'm about to give it a good Eli Manning right here. All right. Let me see if I do the hard hands. Is that it? Look at that. How did you know, Pegasus? That's crazy. Oh man. I will do the double birds for a $500 super chat because that's how much it would probably cost me if I were to do double birds on here. Because I know they're pretty strict about the double bird when it comes to the monetization status. If I get a $500 super, I will double bird. Now, Cortland, I do agree we beat Mahomes. We did not handle him. We handled Lamar Jackson. We did not. Mahomes did Mahomes things versus us. We just had Leonard Fournette just destroying them. That's so funny. That's so funny. Prussia. TikTok filter territory. Oh my God. All right. So this is true story. Not going to get into politics, but I'm going to get into politics. Saw something recent from a big reporter who claims to be a journalist. All right. If you cover politics, all the power to you. I've shared my story covering politics, whatever. And he tweeted out something that was inaccurate. Okay. Not going to say who, but it was a male reporter. And I was like, okay, this isn't what's happening. And it wasn't that he was like just blatantly lying, but he was misleading, and that drives me crazy. Sometimes I wish people would just blatantly lie instead of just being misleading on purpose. But I went and looked at his profile photo, and his photo was totally airbrushed to make him look younger, like a male. Like you see a lot of females do it, but a male. All right. Now, if you're an entertainer or a dancer or just some random person, all the power to it. But you are a news reporter. So you're not only misleading us with your actual news, but you're misleading us with your actual looks. I never understand the airbrush face thing. Never understand why people do that. It has never once looked good. It has never once. Okay, let's go through these legendary performances from BT. LSU versus Jason White, yes. LSU versus Tim Tebow, yes. We held him to 13. He still won the game. He absolutely killed us in the swamp, and we beat him in 07. We're really good against him in 07. Geno Smith, yeah, he put up some numbers, but Tyrann Mathieu did his thing. Lamar Jackson, yeah, dominated him. Patrick Mahomes, he put up a lot of numbers, but we did beat them. Trevor Lawrence, dominated him. We also dominated Jalen Hurts. You left him off there. Jake Fromm, a bit of a stretch. No, it's a big stretch. Let's see if there's any other. Oh, how about this one? Now, this is a deeper cut one, but Jordan Love. We beat that year. But you're missing the biggest one of them all, where we dominated him not once, but twice. In fact, it was the only bad games he played his entire college career. And they were both against us. I'm shocked you left him off. One of the most iconic college football players who had a big documentary come out about him. TJ, I'll dance. I don't think I said Dylan Cruz is overrated. There you go. Johnny Football. Literally his only two bad games were against us, which is crazy. Crazy to think about. Shout out to Lamine Barrow. Daryl Simon. What about Noah Fifita at Arizona? Shaw Garcia. Oh, Cole. Okay, that's a good one, Cole. Tyrod Taylor. That's right, Tyrod Taylor was that dude, man. Still in the NFL, Tyrod Taylor. That's a really, really, really good one. Let me think. And we're also on the other end of some epic ones, right? So like Aaron Murray, we beat us. That was a crazy game. It was the best game I ever played. Dak Prescott had a big one against us. Bo freaking Nix had his 2 best games versus us. So we had some weird ones. One kind of weird one, kinda is Kyler Murray and Justin Fields, but they were kind of rotational QBs. John Rice Plumlee. Whew. We were talking about that one earlier. I don't think anyone's ever going to recover from that, even though we won that game. John Rice Plumlee. What a dude. Let's see. Tua didn't play all that great in the 2018 game that he killed us. 2019, though, we did pretty good against him until, they mounted their mini comeback. Bryce Young, his only game ever under 50% completion percentage. Harold Perkins game. That was a great performance from our defense. The game for Madhouse. Stetson Bennett torched us pretty bad. Got a good game versus Eric Ainge, the Jonathan Zenon game. Who else? I have to go through and just list as many as I possibly can. Kind of tough doing it off the top of my head. I mean, McCorkle got us pretty good. But that's not here nor there. Gino, yeah, definitely. We got Gino. Ben Roethlisberger. Let me see. I gotta look at this. Let's see what his numbers were in that game. I totally forgot about this. Big Ben actually sent an email to Coach Saban. Isn't that crazy? He was only a sophomore. Ben Roethlisberger sent an email to Coach Saban. That's nuts. Final score was 33-7. Let's see if I can get some final stats here on Big Ben. Okay. I got his college game log here. All right. He was 22 of 34, 195, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Big Ben versus us. Final score 33-7. That's crazy. Oh, come on, Pegasus. Don't bring up KJ Costello. Yeah, Eli Manning was someone would beat. This is interesting. I'll show you this. Okay. You want to know why you should always enter the portal? Because you start getting these kinds of treatments again. Okay. So this is Dominic Williams and Coach Cordell Landers. He says he's the best recruiter in college football. All right. I don't know if he's a recruiter. I don't really know, but this is his video. Okay. I can't play the music. There we go. There's Blake Baker right there. Bo Davis. Okay. A thermostat. Well done. Well done. Yeah, Brandon Allen got us one time. So there you go. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. We will be live again tomorrow. Let me quadruple check to see if there's no baseball midweek game tomorrow. I'm guessing there is not. There is not. Okay. 26-2 was the final baseball score tonight. Ugh. So we will be live tomorrow at 6 p.m. God willing. All right. Shout out to our top super chatters of the evening. Wait, why aren't they showing up here? Okay. That's kind of weird. It's not letting me put up the super chats. But the top super chatters were TOV, Dex. No, I don't want to do that. Jared and Pin. Normally they'll let me flash it on the screen. So there you go. I'll be chatting in the Discord for a little bit, and we'll see you there. It is. Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight, we're doing chicken quesadillas. Let's go.